Hey guys, it's me, FreeStubC, back with another video. What kind of hit detection is this? Not good, not good. Bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day, bad day. And actually, guys, today I want to talk about what DICE can learn from their past Battlefield games. Now, this is a talk that's been in the community quite recently. The talk of Battlefield 3 at an all-time high. So I think we should take this time to reflect on what DICE could learn from their previous mistakes. More specifically, whether it can learn from the past 3 Battlefield games. How that can apply to Battlefield 6. Which I think it can quite a bit. So first thing I want to talk about is, of course, Battlefield 5. I want to take this in order of their release dates. So Battlefield 5, first point I want to talk about is its marketing. I feel the great failure of Battlefield 5 was not anything about its gameplay or its design system. It's what its marketing. It was marketed terribly, and that negatively impacted the game's life. So how many people bought the game, which hurt all the other aspects of this game. Because how many people bought the game, DICE or EA didn't want to pour a lot of resources into it. So anyway, so I'll say about marketing. Marketing of Battlefield 5 was really poor. DICE decided to go to a design decision that didn't make a lot of sense for a lot of people. Talk about the unknown battles of World War II, which is, of course, a terrible design decision. No one cares about an unknown battle. That doesn't generate hype as much as something like D-Day or like Stalingrad. People care about noticeability. Give you a good example of what I'm talking about is that's like trying to name a title of a YouTube video off something no one knows. That's not going to generate clicks. The same way that just covering an unknown battle is not going to generate people buying the game. Just only started to see the error of the mistakes far too late, and pivoted too late. So that's what I want to talk about is misunderstanding their fan base. So towards the end of Battlefield 5's life cycle, they started making side decisions that basically killed off the game and any chance it had at coming back. And that's mainly the TTK changes. So what TTK did was change something what many fans found was one of the game's main strengths, which was its time to kill. By changing that, many fans felt like DICE wasn't the community, as they tried to do that before, and that failed. The community was against it. So DICE should not try to do the same mistake again and try to change something that the fan base doesn't want to be changed. Don't create changes that the fan base never asked for. So next point I want to talk about is segueing back into the next point is not listen to their community. A lot of the community complained about how DICE was going in the wrong direction with Battlefield 5 well before its life cycle was over. And people were suggesting tons of changes that could end up helping the title, and that's why I love Battlefield 4, because of kill assist, counts as kill. I mean, I did most of the damage to that guy and not get rewarded any time. Anyway, DICE should really take us time to learn from feedback this title and actually learn from feedback. Because they clearly did not learn from the mistakes of past titles. Mainly from Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, they did not learn from those mistakes. So what I mean by not learn from mistakes is, segue to Battlefield 1, is that the greatest downfall of Battlefield 1 was its inconsistent DLC drops. While the game was successful, and many people look back at it fondly, I think too many people forget about how it actually was for most of its life cycle, which was basically I oh. God damn. I really hate that command prompt, and it's really annoying. I can't tell how many times I've accidentally clicked it and not been able to. Let me light up this damn mountain! So, as I was saying, inconsistent DLC drops. And how that's an issue. Valve 1's majority of its lifecycle was played with low player counts due to its lack of content. As many premium players felt that they weren't getting their money's worth since DLC was so infrequent. Not to mention the maps weren't so few. Our second is life cycle. I think if I can, I'll only post a graph of this game's DLC drop cycle. Help illustrate what I'm talking about. So basically, the DLC dropped far too inconsistently for a modern title, which you can't have, of course, if you want to have the game successful. Games are won on their how well you can drop their cycle. So anyway, I was saying, games are won or lost on their DLC cycles. As the battle passes become more and more important, games need to DICE nearly needs to get up on their DLC game. I'm just waiting for my back to get. I'm just gonna wait for me to get back to the game before continuing on. Hey guys, I'm back. I was saying about talk about inconsistent DLC drops. This game, Battlefield 1 was inconsistent DLC drops leaked over into a Battlefield 5's life cycle. Which is of course bad. You don't want repeating the mistakes of your past titles, as I said earlier. It's generally bad for business. Oh, anyway, just wrapping my point. Just basically, DICE should not just try to. DICE should really get back on their game and try to release DLC more consistently. Number two thing I wanted to talk about is the marketing campaign. Battlefield 1's major success was its marketing campaign. It was probably one of the best in the series, helping it sell tons of copies. While Battlefield 6 5.5 was one of the worst in the series, basically spelling its downfall before it even had a chance to get off on its feet. So if DICE really wants Battlefield 6 to even have a chance to succeed, they have to actually nail this campaign to the T and cannot afford any mistakes. But many people will probably be coming from Battlefield 6, Battlefield 5 with a sour taste in their mouths, and are not unlikely to look fondly back on Battlefield 5 and its mistakes. So if DICE wants to really wants this game to succeed, they should really pour a lot of money into their marketing campaign. So next point I want to talk about is locking too much content behind a paywall. Now this only applies if they go back on their DLC model. God damn it. Well, anyway, we're talking about by locking back too much content behind a paywall. Was that Battlefield? Another mistake of Battlefield. Another mistake of this game, Battlefield 1, was it locked far too much content behind DLC paywall. So a lot of the base game players suffered, because Battlefield 1 didn't launch with that much content to begin with. So now, locking so much content behind a paywall was a big mistake. Since base game players don't have a lot of content to go off of, they quit the game fairly fast. So that was a big mistake. However, the bigger mistake was to launch the game with not enough content, which is another mistake of Battlefield 1. The game does not launch with a lot of content. It's not hold a lot of players. You can't just just keep relying on players to keep coming back with each title and hoping that they will stick around when you have another DLC drop. I really don't like that thing up there. That's what I'm saying. If the players aren't. Bank on players come back with every DLC drop you have is a poor design decision and a mistake at that. If you really want this game, if you really want your title to succeed, you actually have to launch with good content people actually want to play day one, and don't hope that people grow to like your game. So next I want to talk about the game I want to talk about is Battlefield 4, or specifically its buggy launch. So Battlefield 4 launched relatively, really extremely buggy. Now I wasn't around for this. I didn't play Battlefield 4 at launch. I played it at the tail end. I started really playing it at its tail end. However, from what I heard, the launch was really bad and downright unplayable. So DICE really wants this game to succeed, and I feel like this must be a must. This game must be as polished as Battlefield 1 was at launch. If they truly want this game to have any hope of succeeding. This game must be polished as a gem if they really want it. If this game has, if DICE really wants this game to succeed. I'm repeating points. So the next point I want to talk about is, if a game has a rough start, they should commit to the game. They shouldn't just go how they handled Battlefield 5 and stop supporting the game and pull money away from this. Because once you stop committing to this game's life cycle and try to give up on it, people try to lose faith in your property. I mean, it happened with Battlefield. It happened with Battlefield 5. People lost faith in the property after DICE started pulling. Started pulling support from it. So this game gets out the right start, DICE should not pull resources from it. Because that will only end up hurting the title. And the final part I want to talk about is how to handle feedback. So, right at Battlefield 4's greatest strength was its CTE. Allowing the community to pre-test content before it launch can be a great help, as it prevents bugs from getting in. And two, it helps the community give feedback to what's balanced and what's not balanced. Having the community feel like they have their voice being heard is an important step in any console game. If the community feels like their voice is being heard, of course, the community feels like their voice is being heard and wants to support the game. Because if they feel like they have a say in how the game is developed, they feel like part of its community, and they feel like a valued customer. So yeah, so I think I'll end the video here. I think I rambled on for long enough. So until next time, guys, peace.